absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Sophie Turner. She is opening up about getting mom shamed. In a new interview with Vogue, she described the period after she and Joe Jonas announced their split as the worst few days of her life. She was basically, I don't know if you guys remember, but she was kind of cast as this like irresponsible party girl. And then the
Mhm.
media portrayed Joe Jonas as this doting father. So she says, quote, my kids were in the States and I couldn't get to them because I had to finish Joan. And all these articles started coming out. It hurt because I really do completely torture myself over every move I make as a mother. Mom guilt is so real. I just kept having to say to myself, none of this is true. You're a good mom and you've never been a partier. She also kind of took aim at the quote wayward mother trope, saying, I mean, it's unfathomable the amount of people that will just make shit up and put it up based on a picture. And she says a picture might tell 1,000 words, but it's not her story. I'm so curious what your thoughts are on this because I have a lot, and I also feel like we have a lot of expertise in the media because we worked in media for so long. So we also know how this
Mhm.
works. So I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Well, I feel for her because I do remember this very well. I was very much covering their split a lot because there was so much public interest around it. And the conversation was so, so intense. Like online TikToks were just crazy. And it made me really sad because it was so obvious we haven't really come that far.
Right.
Because Joe was very much being painted as the hero, the good dad, and she was being thrown into this narrative that I don't think was warranted. And it was sad. I mean, I really, really felt for her.
I agree with you. This kind of goes back to the whole why aren't there changing tables in men's restrooms?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I
Yep.
feel like for Sophie, unless we saw her photo, like she was working, first of all. She was working,
Mhm.
she was filming Joan, and he was working too. But when you're on tour, your schedule is a little bit different than when you're filming something. And I feel like, this goes back to also the conversation we had earlier this week about Jennifer Garner. Like, why are we constantly shaming moms?
Right.
She's doing what she had to do to bring in income. I do think from what we've seen prior to this, like she is a good mom. And are we with her 24/7? Are we with Joe 24/7? No, we're not. And so I think for us to like have been so hard on her is really upsetting. And I say us as like a collective society, not you and me.
Right, right.
Because I do remember when this all happened and I felt like this sucks for her. Like she's
Totally.
being chased around. There's paparazzi pictures of her like making out with someone on the set, but there was no context at first when those pictures came out.
Right.
Remember that?
I
And
reported on those photographs. I
yeah,
remember it very, very well. They were filming a scene, but it was
exactly.
painted, not necessarily the media, but definitely social media. People painted it as like, oh, she's sowing her wild oats, and where are her kids in this time of need? And it's interesting because man, I can think of several fathers who are celebrities who don't see their children who aren't really shamed.
I
No one's talking
I
about that,
know.
and I
There's
I
a
can
big
think
one
I
that
won't
comes
name
in,
names.
yeah, there's a big one that
We're probably
comes,
thinking the same people,
yeah,
and no one talks about it.
right.
And it's like, why are we so quick to jump on the
It's
woman?
and yeah, and it shouldn't always be all on the woman. That's why a partner is so significant, and that's why I'm so grateful to have, my husband. I'm sure you feel the same way. It's like it's both of our children. It's not all just on one person. And so yeah, that I'm sad that she was so sad about all of this.
Mhm.
And then I also think from a media perspective, we don't know exactly who was talking to the media or what, but a lot of times, and this is what I'll say, the source is the star's publicist or someone from their team. I'm not going to
Yes.
say that that's what this was in this instance, but I'm just going to throw it out there that a lot of times it's
Yeah.
somebody from the inside. talking to
Right.
media or giving quotes and painting people a certain way. And
And that's their job, is to make their client look good and to make their
yes,
client come out looking the victor from
right.
these public scandals.
And there's a lot
So
of times too staged photographs. You know, you
oh,
call up
yeah.
the agency or you take the pictures yourself and you sell them to the agency.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of that going on. And so I just think people need to be more aware of what's happening. And again, I'm not saying that's what happened in this situation because I don't know. I'm just saying that that is a common thing that does happen in celebrity news.
Yes.